second. I was just crushing the wire with my weight of the chair. It wasn't one of the wires that comes with the chair. Alright. So, we got a request to bombable floor. We did go over it on Sunday, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Let's show how painful it is. So, the biggest annoyance is the red jellies as well as lining up to throw the second bomb. So, what you kind of want to do if you're just going to one bomb it is just get him out of the way. You just need to be a little bit. Do you see I'm like a little bit more to the left than the center? If I am directly center, it bounces off of it. So you need to be like just a little bit off. Like that. See if that counts. So that counts too. So this is one of those things we were talking about, a min-maxing, right? Get out my bombs, and I just say that I have 5,000 bombs. Is it in my items? Oh yeah, it is. So clear this out, and then be like, alright, does this pixel work onto, I guess, the x-axis? So 88 worked, right? So let's try A. I'm pretty sure this won't work. Alright, so 8A doesn't work. So B obviously won't work. I'm trying to get to the 0. I can do it. Wait, there is no 0. I just said A doesn't work. Okay. So 9 doesn't work. Let's go to 8. See, this is what I mean by trying to practice to see where it's going to work. I think it's going to be the next one that's going to work. It looked like that was lined up. See how I'm a little bit off to the left? So 7 is where you're aiming for. And if you wanted to, do a dash turn here to tell yourself this is where you're going to be placing the bomb. So this image right here is the most right you can be to be throwing the bomb to hit that. That's what you should be telling yourself. And if I wanted to go to 4 works. Let me try 2. I don't think it's going to go too much further than that. 2 works. So what did I say? 7 was the first one? So that means it's 5 pixels. Let's try 1. 5 pixels. There you go. So you need to be within 2 or 7. Because I said 8 doesn't work. There you go. So you have to be between 2 and 7. So what am I doing in this room? Well, your choice is to decide whether you're going to do 2 bombs or 1 bomb. Start off by just doing 1 bomb. But I would just menu here, and when you menu, you should be looking at the red jellies. And as you can see, right now they're giving me a really nice path. And I'm pretty sure this is free no matter what. I don't think they're fast enough to get in my way. But, you know, if they were a little bit concerning, I'd be saying to myself, how can I beam them if they're in my way? And you get 1 free beam, essentially, 1 sword slash, before you throw a bomb to have enough time to throw it. So if you go bomb, slash your sword, go back to pick up the bomb, and then go throw it, you'll have enough time. So I hit it on 7. So I actually hit it on the rightmost pixel. It's a little scary, but believe it or not, when you're walking, you can probably get it between 1 and 2. I push that guy out of the way, and then... So let's do it. Alright, this guy looks like he's going to get in the way, right? So, place bomb, slash, and then I just immediately walk through. Just slash, pick up bomb, and then just walk through him as he's separating. Bam. Okay. Not good either. I moved a little bit up just to make sure one of the small ones didn't get in my way. Now, I accidentally did 2 bomb because, you know, it's a little bit quick to do that. But as you can see, it's not that much different than 1 bomb. Other than just saving yourself a bomb. That I have enough time. And I'm in. Alright, so this one I'm going to have to sword him. Actually going to sword both of them. So you see how I did it right around here, right? If the guy's not in the way, you can drop the bomb around here and make your way over there and do it super early. But you know what? Because the guys were right here, I actually did it much later, like right here. And that's when I did a bomb slash and then moved over. I think that's the hardest part, is just feeling comfortable getting around just a little bit more halfway of length than this. Like, this may not work. So you want to be more over here. Oh, it's 6, right? So this is the rightmost you're going to be, right here. I think if you practice that, you're good. Now, when I do it with 2 bomb, I actually just face right. If you just place a bomb like this bomb is big enough to explode and push this switch. Obviously, you would stand there, but... So you see how I kind of placed the bomb, sword slashed you guys, and then went back for the bomb? Where to place that exactly, you have to understand or feel comfortable with when the bomb explodes. So this is like, what? 2 tiles away that I did that kind of maneuver, where I kind of went over, slashed, and then came back for the bomb, and then came. That's why I say you kind of get 1 slash. If I did 2 slashes, I don't think I would have had enough time to pick up the bomb and then throw it. So that's why I feel like you get a buffer of 1 slash of just dropping the bomb, throw the sword beam you can, and then pick up the bomb. And the dicier and scarier these guys are right here. That should be the closer you should be to drop the bomb. Let's do another 2. He looks like he's a little scary. See, I'm already looking up there. I mistimed this. I'm not going to have time. But did you see how close I was when it came to that? No, that was a bad one. So he sparks, right? I know I'm going to have to deal with this. It was place bomb, sword beam, pick up bomb, throw. And it's just like a left down. I don't know how else to explain it. To make sure that you get that arc. I mean, honestly, a probably good exercise is just doing this. Like, give yourself 10 bombs and then just keep, if you want to clear these guys out, you can. But just, like, feel comfortable with that turn right here. Okay, he's going to be in the way, right? Nope, he's not. Never mind. Let's see if this is too far to the right. Nope, that's good. I'm telling you, 5 pixels is much bigger than you think. Especially when you're walking. That guy's definitely going to be in the way. That's really unfortunate. Because I don't know how I would have gotten a sword beam off. I think in this scenario, you just gotta chill. That is pretty rare that he sparks right there. So I think that you just are screwed in that scenario. That's also really bad. So you just... If you could pick up the bomb... and just, like, stand, like, somewhere here, you'll then explode it. That's obviously a really bad scenario. Oh my god, that's awful. He, didn't get in my way. Can you see where I'm standing? I think you could stand a little bit high. I don't think you could stand higher, much higher than this. This is probably the highest you can stand and still hold down and not get pushed off. This guy's gonna get in my way. Maybe not. Let's see if this works. Alright, I don't think you can go too much higher than that spot, just to put that out there. So, I hope that gives you a little bit more clarity when it comes to this. Yeah, I kind of had to rush that since I got bopped by him and the bomb was on the ground. But that goes to show you, like, I made a mistake, and I still had enough time to get into position to do that. If you are, like, really concerned the bomb's gonna explode, leave it on the ground. Go pick up just drop another bomb and lose it. Like, if it goes really poorly, you're gonna have to use 3 bombs in this room. You're like, oh no, wait, this is gone. Don't worry about it. Just go pick up a different bomb and go. Yeah, it kind of sucks if you're out of bombs right now, and then you have to, like, pick up this bomb, and then you'll have to menu to bomb, and then you do this room, and then, well, it helps when you do the room correctly. But yeah, this is actually kind of like a good scenario, right? So you're out of bombs, and you'll have to wait for this. Yeah, you're gonna lose time, but these guys are guaranteed to drop bombs, so you'll at least have 1 or maybe 2 if you get both of them. Cool. Alright, I think that's good enough for that room. Definitely practice, like, pieces like I was doing. I had another room to practice and I already forgot what it was, so let's go back. Oh, I think it's just... I think we were just discussing Kholdstare. Okay. Kholdstare's a tough one. You have to decide which fight you want to do first. And I'll start with some slashing. Actually, no. We're going to start with the fire rod and then we'll discuss the 3 options that you want to do for this. So hold upright. Y. Now the most important part of this, and we're going to start with this part, is you really want to get this spin attack where it's going to hit the end of Kholdstare. So watch how long it takes for me to move after he gets hit. That was actually a really bad example because he actually was not where I expected him to be. So good job on that. I think I may actually have to put my audio cue on for this. And what I would say is if you're doing the strat that I'm doing, don't be afraid to throw some extra swings. You're not going to lose time. If you don't get the sword poke or you don't get one of the spin attacks, you might have to hit one of the eyeballs 2 or 3 times. And so it's worth just slashing in there just to make sure if something doesn't look good. But do you at least see the spin attack part that I'm talking about? Okay, so he got hit there. See how I'm like already facing? See how I'm like already over to going to fight him? That's the most important part. So the timing I figured out was that I hold upright and I press it like this. And then by the time I get to the top is about when the ice breaks. And so I'll be able to dodge it. And that's when I charge my sword. And as you can see, I was aiming for the bottom left corner of him. Because your goal is to push him against this wall. Whether you're going for the slash strat or the sword poke strat. We can go over that in a moment. But the most important part I want you to think about is getting this spin attack. The end of Link's attack is pushing him into the corner. So you're kind of like using the invincibility of Kholdstare to do the first half of the spin. I hope that makes sense. See how that was like towards the end of it? See that one? That was a really good one. If I would say go back to that one. That was like really the end of it. You see how long they're just chilling in that corner? There's something with him hitting the wall that he's like stunned a little bit longer. And if you ever do a spin attack where you kind of push him in the upright corner but he doesn't hit the wall, you'll see that they're a little bit more aggressive to pop out of the corner. So that's the main thing I recommend focusing on at first when it comes to this. With whichever strat you plan to do, try to get your spin attack to be at the end. Alright, so let's see if I can get this. 1, 2, 3. See how I kind of just... That's all I'm doing. Is I slash, I take a step back, and then I slash. That's my goal. And you see where I am? My goal is to push him upright into that corner. See, I actually moved down right. Nope, that guy actually didn't pop out. But you know what? Once I did the slash here, it actually does feel a little bit more comfortable to move here. And you're doing this method to try to dodge the ice blocks. Like that's the whole point of doing this. Otherwise, if there was no ice blocks, you could probably just sit here and do this if you were invincible. You can see that ended up being a little bit of a mess. You're only gonna have to deal with like dodging 2 ice blocks if you do it quick enough. And for those that don't know, ice blocks are random whether they're gonna split up, down, left, right, or diagonals. So you have to just sit at like a 30-degree angle, and then you'll never get hit. So just not be on any of the 8 possibilities is the way I think about it. So just as long as you're in between the 45-degree angle and the 90-degree angle, you're somewhere in the middle, you'll be safe. I think that's enough I can talk about with 8 slash. It's really just practicing that spin attack and then getting into this spot. Keep pushing. And you see that they got a little separated, right? One was a little bit more aggressive than the other two, but I have enough time to flick them. And if they start moving to the left, start slashing up and pushing them against the wall. You won't make it to this far. Like the fight will end after like 2 or 3 more hits. So I'll say that this spin attack at the end that I keep, stressing over, it's probably not as important for the singles. It's probably a lot more important for what I'm about to do. So you gotta get into position for this sword. It doesn't help you mess it up. Alright, so what am I doing? That's a very good question. How do I do the single sword? I think the trickiest part that most people mess up is that you're not doing the spin attack early enough, so that way he is vulnerable too soon. So when you do it early enough that the end hits it, you'll have enough time to get this. And that's what I'm doing. I'm holding sword, and I'm doing the sword poke like everyone tells you to do in the tile room of Hera, right? You're trying to get not a sword poke. Well, you are doing a sword poke, but a dash poke, and that counts as a slash for the temple sword. And when you do that around here, you're gonna pop them into the corner, and then remember how I tell you a spin attack is huge. It's a big square. This is where you get that double hit off the corner, and then you just have one more slash to it. But as long as you can do the spin attack and the sword poke, which I know everyone thinks is the hardest part, but you have to combo with the spin attack here. Really important. So notice the timing I have with the spin attack to the sword poke, and then I kind of just move to the center to do a double spin off of the corner, and then I do a slash. So what do I do? I guess the trickiest part after this sword poke is to make sure you're still holding B. If the sword retracts and you're not holding the sword anymore, that means that you did not time the A button, whether he was too vulnerable too soon and you got a sword poke, or you did not hold A at the right time. You have to make sure that you're holding A during the attack. And then you'll be able to go here to do the spin attack. I will tell you that it took me a good amount of time of tries. It probably wasn't until like the second or third day that I was practicing this technique that I was like, oh, I kind of am getting it like 1 in 6, 1 in 10. And then maybe like, a week of frustration, and then maybe I got it like 3 or 4 times, and I was kind of getting more half the time. It was a slow process for me to understand the sword poke, so I don't feel like it's required, but I can assure you it makes the fight a lot faster. Well, not faster, but a lot more consistent. I'm not going to teach the double sword poke because I can't do it. And anytime I ever try to go for the second sword poke, I never get it, so I'm not going to bother with that. So I'll do this a couple more times. This time that happens too. And in that scenario, you just go and bomb. I highly recommend doing spin attacks. I don't like doing spin attacks. I know a lot of people like to try to get a spin attack. I don't recommend it. Just dash at them or do slashes. If you want to get really fancy, you could technically be doing like sword pokes like against the wall, similar to what we were doing. And then when you get them against the wall, then you can do a spin attack, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's some crazy advanced stuff. So watch. So that time he didn't get pushed against the wall, so I was a little bit quicker to get into that spot because I knew he was going to be vulnerable faster and popping out at me. So I did get it, but I got a little lucky. There's a chance that he could have aggroed a little bit quicker. It's an RNG thing that he could have they could have separated. So I kind of got lucky on that one, but it can still work out. There's a pretty big window to fixing if you make a mistake. So let's do a comparison for you guys. So that's 1633. $17.40. A little over a second difference. So if you're in a position where you're good with the slashes and you're only like half good with the spin attack or the dash poke, don't worry about it. It's just a second. That'll be something you can squeeze out later, especially when you're at sub 90. This is a very sub 90able just do slash strats against Kholdstare. As long as you are consistent at keeping him in the corner. If you're constantly getting a little puff party, then maybe I would encourage trying the hardest strat. It takes a bit to get used to. Alright, well, we covered the 2 rooms I wanted, so that's going to do it for me. Catch you guys later. Good luck.